I'm Austin Cheney here in the 13 WMAZ Weather Center. We're keeping a very close eye on Category 4 Hurricane Dorian. Dorian is still a very dangerous hurricane this evening, and now it's setting its sights on the northern Bahamas. The hurricane hunters have been in and out of the storm all evening long, and with the last pass through the center of the system, they discovered that the pressure has fallen to 941 millibars. Every time the pressure falls, there's normally an increase in wind speed associated with that, and so we may see this storm bump closer to Category 5 status as we go later in tonight or towards the early morning hours of Sunday. Here's the official forecast from the Hurricane Center. They do bring the winds up to 155 miles an hour later on tonight. Keep in mind, Category 5 hurricane status begins at 157 miles an hour, so we'll be very close to Category 5 status later tonight. Regardless if it does reach that status or doesn't, it's still going to pose a very serious threat to the Bahamas. It'll be a Category 4 storm when it moves by Grand Bahama Island on Sunday. And then late Sunday into Monday is when we'll be watching for the system to make a turn towards the north. So as we continue going through the projected path, the Hurricane Center continues to indicate that eastward shift in the forecast track with every update that they come out on this forecast cone. And so the latest projection keeps the center of the circulation close to 100 miles off the Florida coast. That will spare them, hopefully, from the impacts of a major hurricane there along the east coast of Florida. But keep in mind, we cannot completely rule out with 100% certainty that this system will not make landfall in Florida or Georgia. And that's why they continue to indicate that forecast cone overlapping with some of the coastline. But even with that being said, trends all day long and really all day yesterday have been for the system to remain further and further away from the coast. By the time the system gets close to the Georgia and South Carolina coastline, it'll be weakening to a Category 2 hurricane. As long as the system stays well offshore like it's forecast to do right now, central Georgia should see pretty minimal impacts. Here's a look at those forecast tracks that the Hurricane Center goes over to make their forecast cone. And as you can see, many of them continue to indicate that the storm will stay offshore. Again, that's been the trend all day long. And even with the models that just came in at 8 o'clock tonight, they continue to nudge that track a little further to the east. And pretty much all of them keep the center to the southeast of Macon, keeping us on the less windy side and the less rainy side of the storm. So here's how it looks on future view. Over the next 24 hours, it'll be moving close to the Bahamas, intensifying a little bit as it does so. Then late Sunday into Monday, the storm will make that turn to the north. The RPM model, of course, keeping the system well to the east of Florida. And now the European model will take over the extended part of the forecast. By Wednesday is when it looks like the system will be making the pass just to our southeast. And notice across central Georgia, we're not seeing any rainfall. As long as we stay dry, any gust that we have of 25 to 35 miles an hour should not cause any tree impacts or any power outages or anything significant across our area. So the latest wind gust forecast looks like this. Through Monday and Tuesday, you're not going to notice anything really out of the ordinary. We'll see gusts upwards to 10 to 15 miles an hour. Late Tuesday into Wednesday, especially into Wednesday afternoon, this is when it looks like we could see the strongest gusts, but the trends this evening with the drier forecast and lower wind gusts show nothing really significant. So on Wednesday afternoon, we could see gusts 25 to 35 miles an hour. That should not cause any issues across our area. And then by Thursday, the storm has already passed us, moving closer to the Carolina coastline, potentially causing some issues there. But for us here in central Georgia, the threat is pretty much over. We'll get more information coming in at 10 and 11 tonight. I'll have updates on Facebook, online, and coming up tonight at 11 on 13 WMAZ News.